So following the chest workout that I had on Saturday, today's felt really good. Um, the dumbbell presses starting out felt nice and strong. It wasn't anything that I felt too exhausted on, and doing them first definitely has a benefit of not having to kind of do it towards the end of the the day, the exercise or the workout session. Um, I ended up doing 45 for 2 sets and then 47 and a half for the last 2 sets, and everything moved really well. It didn't slow down really with any of the latter sets, so I'm feeling pretty confident about trying all 4 sets at 47 and a half on Saturday, and just looking to really kind of push that further and further. One thing I did do differently this week compared to the last is that now that I've kind of had exposure to some of the exercises, last week, I decided to go for max, 12 reps on every single set that I was doing, or at least kind of 12 to 10 depending on the exercise, rather. But I didn't hit a failure point on anything until the final set of the shrugs at the end of the workout. So that's pretty good indication for me. And I only did two chest exercises today, and then 3 different shoulder exercises. But everything, I just felt nice and strong by the end. Everything was moving. I felt like I'm making progress. Like I have the right idea at the moment for how to build up my chest muscle, my mass in my chest, and really kind of build that strength that I can apply to doing bench press. And I'm feeling very confident that hopefully this year I will be able to hit a 2-plate bench. Maybe even heavier depending on how things go. Once I feel comfortable kind of squatting and deadlifting again, I might go for kind of maxing out each lift. I think I'm getting close to that point. I'm no longer feeling any sort of soreness or pain in my glutes or my lower back when I'm waking up. I don't feel any discomfort when I'm just kind of sitting around, in a chair, which was causing some difficulties. It's all just kind of, moving the way it should be. Kind of related to that, these upright rows with the barbell, 65 or 60 pounds, definitely a killer. This was one where I came close to not finishing the last set, but I was able to get through it. I debated putting 65 pounds on for the 4th set, but it was one where I just kind of decided to go with 60 instead, just to have it be something reasonable. And it definitely was a struggle to get through, but I'm thinking next week will be fine with 65 on the 4th set, and then slowly progressing from there. And then just beginning to build up on this. I think once I hit a point where I start stalling out on these, that's probably a pretty good point to just kind of hold and hold at that weight and build up strength until it becomes easier and easier and easier, and then just slowly build up. I'm not trying to like 1 rep max these. I'm working for volume, and if I can't finish the volume, I either drop the weight down and kind of keep going until even that lower weight's a little bit easier, or just work on increasing the amount that I can do per that set that I've failed on with that weight. So if I were to go up to 65 here for like the last 2 sets and I were to fail 65 pounds on this set, I would just park here until I got 65 consistently, then move up to doing 65 for all 4 sets. And I likely wouldn't be able to do all 4, but I'd sit there and just work on it and work on it and work on it, and not really kind of say, okay, I got 65 through all 4 sets, but the last 2 were kind of not great. I wouldn't increase the weight there, because it's not a good application of the movement. That's not a good indication that I've got control and like mastery over that weight. You're kind of doing a disservice to yourself if you're advancing prematurely. And that's one thing that I've always been kind of wary of, given some injuries that I've had in the past from kind of pushing myself a little bit too quickly with certain exercises. One of them may have been the result of you know, kind of pushing bench a little too hard, but with that shoulder tear. But it's all been kind of fairly manageable. I tend to auto regulate as much as I can, just knowing my own limitations and everything. And I was I just want to make sure that I'm not in a position where I'm out for too long. It's because I get kind of stir crazy when I can't exercise for so long, just because it becomes such a vital part of my week, of my day. Just being able to do this and have that time to myself. So being able to be in a position to, or not being able to position, but being able to mentally maintain that, and kind of protect myself from injuries, definitely a huge part. And just knowing when and how to start pushing things a little bit is a huge aspect of that. And just kind of being able to admit that you have limits, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of it. It's just something that you can push up against and slowly work to grow your strength, and kind of nudge the dial just a little bit to get that much stronger. And that's just kind of the whole purpose of at least this in general, wanting to push things a little bit harder, without having to do bench directly, just because bench press, as I've spoken to before, can be very damaging to the shoulders if done regularly. And it's something that if you are like a seasoned power lifter, or you have good coaching, which I don't, I'm doing this by myself. I don't have someone to really kind of look over things and tell me what exactly I'm doing inefficiently that's causing me to be predisposed to injuries. You'd be able to adjust and kind of develop faster. But I don't have that luxury. I'm figuring this out by myself, and really trying to kind of figure this out. And that all kind of plays back to that, again, just auto-regulating, making sure that I'm kind of protecting myself to be able to develop as best as possible. That's, comes with doing these videos so I can watch and monitor my progress on this, doing, kind of very slow progressions on weights to make sure that I'm, gaining full control of them. Just to do it right. I have had instances where I kind of pushed weight really quickly to kind of prove to myself that I could do it or whatnot. Like the first time that I squatted 300 pounds, I was only, repping like 185. And I'd done a couple heavy singles like in the mid 200s, and I was like, oh, I could probably do 300. And I went for it and really nearly hurt myself doing that. Just kind of pushing that rep out. I know I had terrible form. I was probably pretty bent over, back rounded, not doing too well. And I felt terrible for a few days after doing that. My back was lit up and inflamed. My legs were sore. I just was not prepared to do that, and I just forced myself in that position to do that. And I really don't want to be in a position to where, yeah, I can grind the rep out and do it, but at what cost? And that's at least something that I'm very conscious of with like deadlifting too. In some instances you'll see me kind of start the rep, break some tension a little bit, pull for a little bit, then just stop, because I know that I don't have the strength to really kind of get that weight off the ground without risking any sort of like injury in the long term. Or just, I know that if I were to keep exerting, I'd probably just wear myself out and then put myself in a position to where I'd be more likely to injure myself. It's just all about kind of being able to understand your limitations and really just kind of work with that. And sometimes it's not even technical limitations or the weights that you have to deal with. It's the equipment that you're dealing with. So like in particular with this lift, the Arnold press, I can do these with my loadable dumbbells, but what I run into is that the dumbbells hit each other and kind of interfere with the movement between each other, and I really don't get the best results with it, and it makes it kind of hard to really do it effectively. So I'm probably going to be stuck on 20 pounds with those for a while unless I, can find a way to kind of do the lift without having issues with it. I might kind of play around with it next week and see how it feels like 22 and a half using the loadable dumbbells. Just because again, it's weird. It's one of those things that it's not a huge issue doing it with them, but doing it improperly really kind of does yourself a disservice and doesn't really train the muscles correctly. You're not going to get as much of a benefit out of it as you would doing it the correct way. Speaking of kind of one with this too, doing barbell shrugs, I can do them with my trap bar. I can do it with my barbell. I decided to do them with a trap bar just to get some more neutral grip, and just as a substitute for like doing dumbbell shrugs. And let me tell you, I know I did 4 sets at 155 and then 1 set at 135 last week, but doing 5 sets at 155 this week was a slog. The first 2 sets fairly easy. Third set I was able to grind out. The fourth set I was really having to fight through to do it. And I really need to kind of work on avoiding kind of kicking with my knees because it's taking some of the activation out of my my traps when I'm doing this to really kind of do those shrugs. But it's hard, especially with this weight. I could probably stand to lower it down just a little bit, but I know that I can get through this. But it's just a matter of doing this weight over and over and over and over again until I get stronger with it. I could maybe raise it up just a little bit, but then I'm just looking at a situation to where I'm going to be failing, the weights, and really not getting any benefit out of it all because I'm not able to do the actual rep. So like that right there, that last, I think it was the 10th rep, the 9th or the 10th, where I had to just really kick my knees to be able to get it up. That's not the best way to do it. And on top of that, I don't have a controlled descent, so I'm missing some of the negative and some activation with the traps. But at the same time, I'm able to do the majority of the set and just kind of get out the last couple of reps, any way necessary. Which there's positive and benefits to both of that. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to do it right. So, as I was speaking to earlier, I'm going to park this exercise at 155 and really kind of work on it until I'm able to do all 5 sets fairly consistently and really kind of develop that movement to be able to do it correctly. It might take some time. I might be able to just get it done in a couple of weeks. I really don't know, but I'll keep hacking away at it until I'm able to do it. It's just all about kind of working my way towards this goal of developing the whole, shoulder complex, everything involved with the chest to be able to press effectively. And there's no shortcuts with that. You have to take the time to really kind of develop the strength and muscle necessary to do it. And that's what, at least right now, I'm here, doing and working on.